What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Prompt Us podcast. We're so excited you are here today spending this time with us. Why are you guys laughing at me? I'm going to keep going with this intro. Anyway, my name is Gabriel, and I'm really excited to grow with you guys and learn with you guys today. And I am here. Too. Oh my gosh. I'm here with the guys who are making fun of me for some reason, Chad and Zach. What just happened that I'm out of the loop on?
You just you looked deep into the camera and just went... and I just could not help myself.
What's up, guys?
So
my name's Gabriel.
Guys,
Conte.
I had to flip the switch. I was turning it on. You know what I mean? Like I had to be like,
yeah, I get you.
I had to be camera ready. You know?
You
I
definitely
didn't mean
are.
to make fun of it, but it was just funny.
All right.
Zach,
Whatever. Anyway,
us,
Zach
baby.
has the prompt for today. It was supposed to be. If this is your first podcast listening to us, it's usually way smoother than that.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
So Zach,
You gotta own your mistakes, bro.
Yeah, we'll own it.
Dude. The prompt for today, it's going to be really funny because probably the next few that you hear, Chad's going to prompt. I've been prompt king for a minute, but it might go back. I don't know. It's going to be sad, so I'm just going to take the moment.
Does anyone take the intro, or do you think I got the intro on lock?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I got the intro on lock.
Done.
All right, what's the prompt?
Today's prompt is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Do we take turns here? Is there something you want to say first, Zach? What's the move?
No,
you're the prompt
you said
king.
You had something for
Zach,
this one, so I'm going to let you take it.
I notice that you have a shirt on right now that has a certain message behind it. Is that a piece of advice you'd probably give?
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right now as Zach holds it up for the camera.
Okay.
What does it say, everyone?
Debt-free.
Debt-free screen, baby.
Which isn't true because I have student loans, but my sins are forgiven, so I am
debt-free. There we go. There we go.
That's too deep. That's too deep. This is the shirt that Chad got me. It says debt-free when I did pay off my debt. If you've been listening to our podcast, I don't know which episode it is, so you're going to have to listen to all of them to find the reference.
It's one of the ones. One of the ones that have already been posted.
It's definitely one of the ones.
Yeah, so what did you say, Zach? You were like segueing me, and then Chad mentioned your shirt, and now we're here.
Yeah.
In this little jumbled mess.
I thought, Gabe, if you wanted to start off, because I know not too long ago you mentioned like sometimes you still feel like you're 19. So if you were 19, what would you tell yourself?
Wow. Honestly, I would. Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah. Okay, this advice would apply for when I was 19 and also like when I was 13. I would say the interests that you have aren't stupid. And you should nourish them and practice at these things that you are interested in.
That's so good. By the way, I thought you were going to take it a different direction. I thought you were going to be like, because you got super like thoughtful and you're pensive, and you're just like, I would tell myself that the interest you have are going to make you fat stacks of money. Like, I thought that's what you were going to say.
God.
I thought you were going to pull one on us. But you were actually really thoughtful, and I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh, you thought, yeah. I was going to pull a fast one on you.
Because
Gabe
Gabe
just
does
being
that.
sarcastic. Yeah, I'll do that sometimes. No, that one was legit. I do think that because I part of me wishes, like, my family was kind of creative. Like, my dad played guitar and sang. And they did nourish those things, but not from like, I didn't have anyone who saw my interest for like photography or filmmaking, or like I would be drawing on the side of my homework, like on all the spare space on my homework. I was like drawing pictures and all this stuff.
You were one of those.
Yeah, and I
envied kids like you.
But I wasn't like trying to do it I was homeschooled. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was just like, it was literally for myself. I was like drawing things and then taking my mom's flip phone because they came out with 1 megapixel cameras that I could take pictures of. And I was trying to take that around and like once filming was on the phones, I was like filming things. And, I just wish I could tell myself, so, hey, these interests you have are from the Lord. Mm-hmm. Like, you're made like this for a reason, and you have these interests for a reason, like practice and nursing. Because I just wish I had that realization, and I put in the practice that I have. Like, I've practiced a lot and developed my skills a lot as an adult, and I wish I was able to do that in my teenage years.
Yeah. So were there voices that kind of maybe deterred you from taking them seriously back then? Or was it just kind of, you know?
I mean, I think it's a self-doubt thing because in a lot of the normal world, I guess, or like the regular world, if you don't have someone specifically who recognizes the value in the artistic side of things or the artistic side of people, you're kind of not going to get nourished from someone else. So you can feel secluded just naturally and kind of have that self-doubt because not a lot of other people may have those interests. Or like my parents they didn't like not feed those interests. They like kind of, they did, but it was also of a point where they didn't fully understand it as well. So it wasn't like this full nourishment on like, this is what God wants my kid to do, or these are the talents that, you know, God gave my kid. I don't even know if I'm verbalizing this.
No,
right,
you are. I mean, like,
and I don't want to throw them under the bus because they did to the best of their ability. They did it was more of a positive nourishment than a negative nourishment, but I still kind of felt that distance there and kind of seclusion with like, I'm a little different. My interests are different. Like when I would be filming with my friends, we would always film like stupid videos and edit. One of my buddies taught me to edit on Windows Movie Maker. Then that's how I got into editing when I was probably like 13 or 14 or something like that. And we would be filming stuff because he got a like camcorder for his birthday, one of my friends down the street. So when we would film stuff, I would always get so upset because like an hour in, everyone would just kind of like call it quits. And I would like literally get upset at everyone because I'd be like, guys, we have to finish this. Like we are making a little video right now, a little movie. Like we have to finish this. And that was like, and my friend, and I'll talk to my friends about that sometimes.
I'm
sure
friends
that I grew up with, and they're like, yeah, I remember clearly like that was you. And
I'm sure that still screws with you because like Gabe, like even like in a conversation, he won't allow loose ends to be there.
No, bro.
Like he's got to cut off all the loose ends.
I go, yo, we didn't finish this part of the conversation. We're jumping back to it, finishing it, and then moving on.
But I love what you're saying regarding your parents, and of course, absolutely defend them in it. But you just don't know what you don't know, you know. And so for them, back 10 to 15 years ago, there wasn't this access into these super ultra creative fields that they are now. Like what's interesting about you is that you kind of like came in on the early end of these things, like Vine. How early were you on Vine?
6 months after it came out.
And then YouTube. Like, I mean, I know YouTube was out.
YouTube was before. Vine kind of made YouTube go mobile.
But whenever YouTubers became YouTubers, how early were you on that?
I mean, there were already YouTubers.
There were?
Sure. Yeah, like I was watching YouTubers in high school before Vine. I even downloaded Vine.
I see.
But so it was more of like I got my start from Vine and then transitioned into being a YouTuber.
I see.
But I wasn't even like there's like the first wave, second wave YouTubers and stuff like that. Like YouTubers were already for sure a thing.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but once Vine came around, that kind of developed the social media star as a whole, where like the whole presence was on a phone. Because before then you were watching YouTube videos on a desktop.
Yep.
You know, and you'd go to youtube.com / whoever it was, like Niga Higa or something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I would just watch viral videos all day, every day of like skateboard fails and like cat fails, all the videos.
Charlotte takes a tumble.
I'm sorry?
Charlotte takes a tumble.
Charlotte takes a tumble. I think
that. Oh my gosh. That one, I remember that being such an early viral video.
Charlie bit my finger.
Oh, Charlie bit my finger, I think was the first viral video.
Banger.
Yeah, but to tie up the loose end before Charlotte takes a tumble was this girl singing on a table. And then it's horrible.
Oh, I have seen it.
And she fell backwards. And it just went so viral. And I don't know why that one's the one that I remember.
Is that the girl that's like, like you can hear as the video
goes rolling on the floor and she's like, oh, I feel bad. I don't want to make fun of her. But like that was a first viral video that I remember being a thing. Anyway, we're going off topic here. Fine. We're talking about advice to our younger selves.
Chad, do you have anything that you would give to yourself?
Yeah, man. I'm going to tell you right after this ad.
Oh my gosh. And that's what you get when there is a slight delay in the communication and one of the boys lives on the opposite side of the world and you have a break in the conversation.
Hey, we should do an ad break right now.
Oh, that kind of break too? Okay.
Oh, I love it. I could probably write a book on that. Actually, I might be. So stay
Wow.
tuned.
Oh.
I'm not going to throw the title
plug.
out there.
So hit the subscribe button, baby.
Yeah, I'm not going to throw the title out there, but you know, something that my wife always says I love is that she always wants to be the person that she wished she had to someone else, right? So like she obviously thinks about people that she wished she had in her life, and she wants to be that person to other people. And for me, I feel the same, but I just wish I knew different things, you know? And so I would love to continue working on a project where it's kind of like, you know, just kind of like this podcast, but it's just a book version of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think the biggest and most pressing one would be I haven't fully unpacked this with myself, so forgive me if I kind of stumble through it, but I would tell myself to be easy on myself. Like, take it easy. Like, you know, Lord willing, you live a long life and you don't need to do everything right now. You don't have to be everything to everyone. You can enjoy and not just stress throughout life and put so much pressure on yourself to be perfect or do everything right, or, you know, like to just put less pressure on yourself. Because I think for me, and I think I shared this before, and I don't want this to be like an echo chamber, but I definitely started to adopt this, like, whenever I was told at a young age that I was like good at sports, or I was getting good grades, or I was complimented for those things, or I would do something nice, and I wasn't at that time cursing, and I wasn't like hooking up with girls all the time or at all, but like I wasn't, I didn't do drugs or drink or anything. I was like like, I guess what you label like a good kid. At the time, everyone called me straight edge, whatever that meant. You ever heard that before?
Yeah.
I was like, don't.
Bro, I was homeschooled.
Yeah.
Like, I was straight edge.
You're 100%. And so for me, that thing that like, I guess the pedestal that I was kind of being encouraged and pushed to step on became very lonely, and I was afraid to step off of it. And I feel like I missed out on a lot of experiences and a lot of childhood and a lot of just like mental freedom because I was afraid to be imperfect. And I think that was the cause for my stuttering issue. Because if you break down like stuttering, if you like look into it, a lot of it's just like, it can be a lot of anxiety based. And I just wish that I would have, like for example, in college, like I remember I would stress like, this is the most important test I'll ever take in my life. What test? I don't remember that test. I don't remember my professor's name. I'm doing great now. Why did I would always be like, SAT is the most important thing ever. The ACT is the most important thing ever. Getting into college is the most important thing ever. Finding the one you're going to marry is going to be the most important thing ever. There's always something to stress about. And
You're giving weight to things that don't deserve that much weight.
Yeah. But there are good things you can add weight to too, which I have a cool story about that. But like, I think I was just living my life just so stressed out and so high strung. And I would just tell myself that, hey, breathe. It's okay. Like, you don't have to be everything to everyone, but just focus on being yourself. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, wow.
Well, end the podcast there. Thanks, guys.
Good advice, everyone. We'll call it a day.
Do you have anything like that, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, like a similar thing, Chad, because I grew up, I mean, it's so funny. I feel like we were all like the good boys. Like,
the Good Boys podcast.
Bro, that would have been funny.
Oh
and we put dog photoshops on our face.
Dude,
the
guys,
Good Boys.
We're rebranding the podcast to the Good Boys.
This is it.
Oh
we're only a few months in. Let's rebrand.
Dude, that's hilarious. It's just 3 dogs.
Yeah, like growing up, like with my parents were church pastors, or they still are church pastors. So growing up with parents that are church pastors, like, it wasn't even a thing to be the good boy. It was just like, that's just what it is. Like, when I look back, I'm like, oh man, I was fully the chill kid that wasn't doing anything hectic, and I wasn't, getting up to trouble, whatever, I guess the best way to say it is. But what that did for me though was like, people would be like, oh, Zach's got feelings. Like, he's the feelings person. Like when I was younger, right? And like in high school. And that's because I didn't know how to check myself and my feelings, you know, like if something happened at school or someone was bullying someone else, instead of me just like standing up for it, I'd make it this whole debacle where I was like, everyone needs to know that I am ticked off about this thing right now, and everyone needs to get involved, and this is inappropriate. And
wait, would you actually just stand up and do that at school?
Yeah, I would just get so angry.
That's kind of G though.
Because
it is kind of G.
That's kind of gangster, bro.
Listen up, everybody.
Like, I am Zach Staines, and I do not stand for this debauchery.
That's what I do now. It's more
like 8-year-old Zach saying that.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Instead of just like,
but legit, Oh, sorry. So you go.
No, you're going. I was just hyping you up.
Oh yeah, you're good. Yeah, like instead of just kind of, I had to make it a whole ordeal because I didn't know how to look after and how to. What's a great way to like? I can't explain it. Anyway, I just didn't know how to really manage my feelings, and so because of that, I grew up thinking that feelings were bad. It's like, hey, because you're so angry or you're so happy and you're nowhere in the middle, you shouldn't have feelings because it affects people, right? So because I didn't know how to outwardly show myself and who I was like, well, I just won't show myself at all. I won't share any part of what I'm going through. I'm going to keep it really inside. And the bad thing about that is I still had those feelings, right? So it was like really building inside of me. And that was probably like 14 or so. And it wasn't until I was like 18/19, I was in like a real bad relationship. And that fell apart. And I went and saw someone about like, here I was thinking I was going to see this psychologist about my bad relationship. Had nothing to do with that person, right? Had everything to do with myself and the things that I was holding inside still, which I know is a pretty common story. But I would just say to myself, you know, like, give yourself a chance to think about why you feel that way, but don't discredit the way you feel.
Yeah.
You know, don't discredit. It's okay to feel that way, but now it's your responsibility to like really steward that feeling in a way that's either to communicate or to encourage or to inspire or to, even if it's just for you, to just sit and understand that feeling. Does that make sense? I know that's a little bit like random, but
I mean,
I just felt like I wasn't in control, and so I just gave all control up.
Yeah, and I think a cool thing about this question specifically of like the advice that you would give to your younger self, it really is, in a sense, it's a pointless question. You know, like there's nothing you can do about it. If you're actually talking specifically on the advice that you would give to your younger self, you know what I mean? It's like
until Elon comes out with time travel.
Oh yeah. Once that happens, then we'll re-record the podcast. No, but dude, when you think about it, it's pointless. Like you can't change the past, and you have to kind of be okay with everything that has happened and use it as a learning experience. You know.
Excuse me. You know, it's not pointless though.
No,
this ad break.
He crushed it.
I wasn't. Zach, you went to an ad break and I wasn't even done with my topic. I wasn't even done with what I was trying to say.
That. I was just being
no, dude, that was.
You guys told me to give it a go.
No,
you did.
That was
great.
Great, dude.
You did great.
That was actually money. Literally, that was money.
Y'all need to chill. You guys need prayer, my boys.
Yeah. So the question that we're talking about, advice you would give to your younger self, is in theory, it is a pointless question. So why are we even asking it? The reason that we're asking this question is because it can benefit other people. Like me reflecting and doing that is what you were saying, Chad, that what Tori's, that quote that she says.
Yeah. She wants to be the person that she wished she had.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So starting with the question, what advice would I give to my younger self? That is the reason we're doing this, is to try and like benefit other people's lives. I don't know. that's like a random thought that I had. Like I was kind of sitting here. I'm like, why are we even asking ourselves this question?
Totally.
Because that seems kind of pointless. But when you think about it in that context.
Yeah. And I think there's another reason too, where it helps us unpack things too. You know, it's like it helps us process things because, you know, just like what you mentioned in another podcast where we bring baggage into relationships, but we also have to carry that baggage around with us everywhere we go. And sometimes, I don't know how you guys feel when you travel, but whenever I get to a hotel or wherever I'm going, I will open my suitcase and I will unpack. Like I can't live right now. I'm living out of my suitcase in your house. And I hate it. I hate it.
We went to lunch.
Yeah.
And he was like, I need this hat. And he's like throwing his clothes around the room.
I was a mess. And I was like, I should have unpacked. Right. But it's like, you know, our baggage can be messy, you know? And so it's always good for us to reflect and to learn how to unpack things because, like I was listening to Zach share and he said something, it was about him suppressing his feelings. And I was in this course, in psychology or counseling or whatever. And this professor said this thing that was so deep and so simple. He's like, when you suppress your feelings, all you're doing is sweeping them under the rug and hoping that you don't trip over them one day. And I was like, wow, like they're gonna, you know, that rug is gonna get real high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's gonna be a lot of bumps in the rug.
Yeah. Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of bumps and you better hope you don't trip on them one day. And so, but also I love that as we've been sharing about different things that we would tell our younger selves. By the way, I have another one I'm ready to shout out in a second, but it made me think of Simon Sinek, and he shared this thing about like developing your why. And Simon Sinek said that people tend to have their why, like why they do what they do, developed by the age of 12. And then they spend the rest of their life trying to execute it. And I love what both of you two are saying about how you take this thing that you wish were different and you apply it to make sure other people don't make that same mistake. But obviously, like as we're children and we're sponges and we're absorbing all this stuff, and like I'll just give you a quick little example. This is like a microcosm in this larger conversation. We went through different money issues growing up, and there weren't always money hardships, but they definitely were there at times. And so, especially regarding vehicles or different things, and we even had family come stay with us at a certain time. And that's not a bad thing, but it really put a financial pressure on our family, and the whole family felt it. And so that's why I originally committed to go to business school, because I never wanted to deal with financial issues again. And so something I went through from ages 5 to 10 dictated where I'm going to go to college and how, and what I'm going to study in college that would dictate my future. Right. And so I think that it's just really interesting to unpack, like, oh, wow, we went through these things and they do play a big role in our life, whether we want to admit it or not.
Wow.
Is that deep enough?
Dude, I became a musician, and I have to approach my feelings and I have to embrace them now.
Oh my
gosh. I went through a season of not wanting to do it at all and thinking that it was bad.
That's so
now
deep.
I'm like, it's my art form. Like, this is the thing that I want to do the most is share my heart, right? How crazy is that?
Wow. I love that.
Dude, that's insane. That's
so
insane.
cool.
As you're talking, Zach, I'm looking at your debt-free shirt. And I think we should go into that story as far as like advice, because we mentioned it earlier, and I would be remiss if we did not touch on the subject.
Yeah, well, how about we just do a second round of what we tell, and Zach does the finance one.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, dude. I mean, the money thing, that's always the thing that I'm like, wish I could tell my past self to get your crap together. But not like, that's a brutal way of saying it. But I think, you know, it's similar to what you said about your parents, Gabe, where it's not like they weren't supportive and it's not like they didn't get it. It's just, it was they were doing the best they could. And I fully believe that for my parents as well, right? And so, but because of these things I went through as a kid, I wish I could just go and tell myself like, hey, money isn't going to solve your stuff. And if you keep thinking it is, you're going to keep spending money you don't have to solve things that it's not going to solve. Like that's a really convoluted way of saying it. But when I just remember being like 14, 15, and this is not my parents' fault, this is my fault, but I put holes in my shoes. I used to wear shoes to school that had holes in them, like proper, like the whole bottom of the shoe would, like my feet would be on the ground essentially. And it wasn't because my parents didn't want to buy me new shoes, it's because I was so prideful that I don't want to spend their money. I don't want to spend any more of my parents' money. I know that we're tight right now. And I know that, you know, this could be going to something else. I know that my dad just changed jobs. We just moved up from Sydney. We went interstate, you know, like I don't want to ask my parents for more shoes. And literally for whole semesters at school, I would just wear semesters at school for like the whole term at school. I would just wear like shoes with big holes in it. And it's so odd because I'm like, I would never do that now. My feet, it would kill me. Like if I wore shoes with holes in it, it would hurt my back. And it did, you know, and it's funny, just like the things that I wish I could tell myself and be like, hey, if you need something, it's okay to ask for it. And there's obviously but you need to be okay when someone says no to certain things, you know. If I'm like, I need a PlayStation, it's like, well, my mom can't justify it, right? But if I need shoes, it's okay to ask. And I just wish I went back and did that. I mean, I've mentioned previously, like I used to buy food on my credit card because I didn't want to take responsibility to like make my own money. And I feel like, you know, my future Zach will pay for it, and future Zach did pay for it, and it freaking sucked. You know what I mean? Like it sucked. And it's because I just didn't want to ask for help to someone help reset me. And so, yeah, when it came to money, I just wish that like, I wish I didn't have to feel like I burdened so many people, because I didn't burden people. I just didn't have the courage, and I didn't know how to ask for help with things like wearing shoes. I don't know. It's just weird. I look back on it and it sounds like it's so this like Zach's this epic story of like walking in the dirt. It's not like that at all. It's just that when I think about it, how different I am now. It's incredible. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's a classic ask and you shall receive, you know?
There's always an extent, right? Like there's always an extent. It's not like I'm It's not like I'm like, where's my car at, mum? You know what I mean? It's not like
you're not
what's
asking
going on
for
here,
like
but,
outlandish things. Like I want,
but it's
I want
funny
this
that
Lego
to me,
set.
I thought they were.
You know,
Like but I thought they were as a kid. I was like, well, I'm not going to ask for new shoes. And
Mm.
my mum would be like, why are you wearing shoes with holes in it? Like, that's crazy. Let's go buy you shoes. And I didn't even know how to respond. It's just like,
wow,
oh, mum, it's because I didn't want to burden you because I know that we're tight right now.
dude, that's crazy. As a kid, that you were aware of that, though. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because like for me,
Yeah, I mean, I
I
was a little
feel
bit
like I
older.
would have
It was
been
still,
like,
like, high school,
I need new shoes. Yo, mom, dad,
Yeah.
trying to get those,
Yeah.
trying to get those J's. You know,
Dude, I mean, I'm sure I was lazy as well. I'm sure I was just lazy and didn't want to go shoe shopping.
Yeah.
But I think that played on my mind for a lot. And so, I don't know, to wear this shirt that says debt free is just like, I don't wear it because like I wear it at home. It's like my pajama shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Heck
It's
yeah,
real
bro.
comfy, soft.
It's one of those you
cotton.
just put it on. You have like good dreams about like accomplishing
Dude, about
good things in
Yeah.
life.
finances.
So
But you know,
Go
okay,
ahead.
So I was just, but I just wear it as a reminder to myself that, you know, like, yeah, I'm debt free, but there's going to be times in life where I'm going to have to make sacrifice because I need to look after myself and my family.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So I think mine kind of builds off of his. Is that cool?
Yeah. You can
My
take it, and
second
then
one?
I'll go last.
Yeah,
Mine is also really short. It's not like it's a quick one. So
Yeah.
you can go, and then I'll just.
So I get mine's kind of in two little parts, but the main, like, I guess crux of it is to respect yourself. And that kind of comes from two different like lines of thought I guess you could say lines of thought. It was lines of thoughts that I shouldn't have believed back then. And the first one is that you should be careful how you talk to yourself because your subconscious doesn't know that you're joking. And for me, I always, even to this day, I still say stuff like, "Oh, I'm just being stupid. Oh, I'm just being an idiot," or whatever. The thing is like I'm saying it jokingly, but my subconscious doesn't know that I'm joking. And I start speaking those things over myself. And that can be a really dangerous thing because it's almost like you have to be really careful with your words to a point where I realized that I would apologize for things I did not need to apologize for, but I was trying to be polite. I was trying to be nice. By the way, that's not a bad thing. But what was happening is that while I was trying to be nice and polite and kind by apologizing for a situation that I didn't need to apologize for, I was subconsciously accepting guilt into my life. And that was coming out in different areas. And so what's awesome is that now there's great ways that you can be nice, kind, and polite without accepting fault for something you didn't do. And so I had to start being careful I had to start being careful with my words in those types of situations because I didn't realize the impact that words were having on my life that I was speaking over myself just subconsciously, my own words.
Yeah. That's wild, dude.
And it wasn't always the most deep situations. It was just if I'm frustrated myself or I'm just kind of joking like, "Oh, I'm just an idiot," you know, but like you say it jokingly, but it'll come out in your actions. Like I can always tell by how I'm loving my wife, by how I like lift her up, you know, cause I can see it on her.
Yeah.
I can see it all over. Whenever she's fed with words and she's encouraged, she's glowing, but I can tell whenever she's down. You can see it. And whenever you speak those things over yourself, you can see it as you walk and you see it as you start putting yourself into situations that maybe you didn't have to put yourself in. Like you don't need to accept that role of being the guilty party in a situation when you didn't do anything wrong. But it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." You know, honestly, and not to, this is going to sound like a polite call out, not to even call anything out, but Zach, you do that. You apologize a lot for things that you absolutely.
It's super Australian, dude.
Is it?
It's super Australian.
And
yeah,
so
it's super, and I've found myself doing it, hanging out with you guys, and I'm like, why did I apologize for that?
Yeah,
That's
and
super random.
have you ever heard me say to you, Zach? By the way, you don't need to apologize for that. Have I said that to you?
Oh, you say that all the time to me.
I'm very careful to make sure it's like, oh no, if he did
That's
something wrong,
Zach's next shirt. I'm not sorry.
it's too late to apologize. Oh, yeah.
Shout out to my song
Brand
though.
placement.
Yeah.
Gabe Conte.
I'm not sorry.
And so the next thing with respecting yourself is just dealing with peer pressure. There were some things that I definitely did that I was just pressured into. And if I had respect for myself, I wouldn't have done those things.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk to anybody from middle school or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
who are these people in my life now? But I definitely jeopardized
Well,
my own. mental health to try to make other people like me. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah,
I wanted to be
you can't predict the future at that
Yeah.
age, you know what I mean? And like where you're going to be. So it's tough because all you know up to that point, your whole reality is those people that you're around. And I guess you don't have the foreknowledge to understand like, oh, probably most of these people are not even going to be in my life in 10 years or 20 years or whatever.
And even if they are, why am I living my life to please them?
Yeah.
You know, and so
unless they're like your closest friends, then that's totally different. Then it's like a healthy relationship.
Well,
where you're building.
But there were things that I had like a moral dilemma with, you know, where it was, oh, we're down at ag. By the way, I'm country. You guys can't hear my voice, but I'm definitely from the country. So we're down in ag mechanics where we're learning to weld or take care of pigs and learn how to plant trees. It's like, oh, this kid's gonna take out a pack of cigarettes. Are you gonna have a cigarette with everyone? You know, and
swipe right or swipe left.
Yeah, and there's stuff like that where it's just like, oh, you know, people are out there and it's. I mean, I didn't do that. I actually, you guys, shout out. This is a true story. I took one of the cigarettes out of these girls' hands and I put it on the ground and stepped on it. I kid you not.
What a G.
I kid you not. I was like the patrol. You know,
that's hilarious.
I was like, this will kill you. I'm like, what are you doing?
That is so.
But there were other things, mainly regarding like relationships, that I was in situations. I'm like, and I knew in my heart I should not be doing this, you know. But like, I just wanted to be accepted, you know. And I wish I would have had more self-respect to know that like I don't need to do these things in order to be accepted by people.
Dang, man.
You're up, big dog Gabe.
That's me. That's my turn. All right. So mine is really, I think a good way to encapsulate my final point is advice I would give to my younger self would be, don't let your emotions blind you from reality.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And I mean, I went through, before Jess, I went through a crappy relationship where when I look back on it, I'm like, yeah, I saw the red flags. I knew what was going on. Like, even like people sometimes would say something that's like, oh, are you sure that's fine? And then I'd kind of like have to, when I was like explaining things to people, I'd like,
you
beat
justify,
around the bush,
right?
And justify like, I don't know, but it's fine because of this or whatever. And it was because my emotions were so there and like throbbing and in my face, and I let them completely distract me from reality. So just like really understand, it would have saved me so much heartbreak and you know, so much of that negative experience. And I mean, I just hope, back to, you know, what Tori's quote and you know what we were saying before, I just hope that this is able to encourage people, because that's really the only point for this conversation, is for us to walk away, obviously like the insight for ourselves to be able to talk through this stuff, but for our experience and knowledge now to hopefully impact people that are in the position that we were in. So I do hope that this really encourages people, and those of you listening can take something positive away from it. And we love to hear from you guys on social media as well. So we love y'all, and we pray that you guys just feel encouraged by this and just walk away with something that you can make a positive impact in your life with. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of Prompt Us. And remember, you can follow us at Prompt Us Podcast on Instagram. That's our handle, at Prompt Us Podcast. And that is where you can submit prompts that will be topics that we discuss in future episodes. Appreciate you guys tons, and we'll talk again in the next one.